Wow, they really don't make them like they used to. They really freaking don't. Hi, it's me, Madcrown on Anime, and I'm here to give you another must-watch, and that is the last love song on this little planet. I say, man, this one has been on my backlog for a while, for about like 2 years. I downloaded it because someone recommended it to me, but yet I haven't watched it since then. I completely forgot about it on the day I was downloading it because I was watching something else, binging it. I believe that was Redwall. But now, as I was going on my week off, I decided to watch this, and I gotta say, oh boy, man, I really do miss the old days of anime where they were not afraid to really push the boundary. And it wasn't just always about the etchiness, but it can just be about the cruelty, the absolute casualties of humanity, man. It gave you that Evangelion vibe of back in the day, where everything was always about the world ending and teenagers having to save the world, but end up destroying it and everything. It's very, very crazy. So, besides me rambling on, let's just go on to the plot. It involves two main characters, Chisei and Shuji. These two are seniors in high school, and they just asked each other out. They start going out, slowly trying to find out what is love. And however, as the days seem to be going by and things are happy, all of a sudden there's a war that happens and attacks a city near them. Besides things getting even worse, turns out Shuji's girlfriend, Chisei, is now the ultimate weapon. She was picked up by the military one day and they requested her to join into a program where she was highly capable to become their ultimate weapon. Now, every now and then, Chisei will go off to the battlefield and completely destroy cities and the enemy, while Shuji's back there dealing with the casualties of war and how everyone has to live the life of lingering death over them 24 freaking 7. Now, about this anime, it really is an old anime. Not old like 80s, but I believe late 90s to early 2000s, during that time when anime was slowly transitioning. Whether it's like, okay, let's stop doing the very mature nudity, but because back in the day, anime did have nudity, but it wasn't always seductive. It was just nudity to be there for a certain reason, but not like, oh yeah, there's some very gooner bait right here. No, it has meaning. It was during that time where there was just gore and destruction, and then the openings were so abstract and abnormal compared to now, where openings today are just pretty much it's spoiler fodder. That's all it is when it comes to openings today. But it really reminisces with my soul when I was watching this anime. Like, yo, I miss these days. The days of Nadia, of Air Gear, of Gantz. Those crazy days back in where everything was just so mature and it was something you were afraid to watch in public because of all the nudity, the gore, the violence, and everything, the cursing. Like, yo, this ain't your average cartoons you see on Saturday morning. No, these are those kind of shows. Now, in these days, anime is more acceptable for what it is. So, like, oh, what are you watching? I'm just watching anime. It's a bit etchy. Yeah, it is. But back in the day, it was different. But anyways, let's get back to this plot again. And what I'm here to talk about is pretty much what Shuji is going through. Shuji himself is a dude who is unsure what it means to fall in love, and let alone to be a man, as in say. He goes through high school, just living his life, living through the motions, and even when he's dating his girlfriend, he's unsure if he truly loves her, but slowly finds that out. The guy stumbles. He drops the ball a lot, and I do mean a lot, to the point where, like, what the heck are you doing? But you don't want to put yourself into his shoes as a teenager, a man who's transitioning between a child to an adult, and realizing what he's going through. Seeing his girlfriend going off to war, slowly becoming more of a weapon than a human, to the point where she's not allowing to do certain things to her, which is understandable, but to him, it's more like, why am I dating this person? Do I really love her? To the point, life itself will throw trials where he fails, and I mean he fails a lot in these trials, to the point he is self-aware of his patheticness, and ends up making the one he's supposed to love cry a lot. Chisei's side is a girl who just can't say no no matter what. But as further as she gets into this war, and people can see her as a goddess that saves the world or as a demon that destroys their hometown, she's going through the motions of slowly becoming more of a weapon. She's struggling between what she should become and who she is. And with that happening, she even grows a second personality, someone who isn't afraid to take lead and take charge to destroy anyone that gets in their way, even means killing those that they love. Chise really struggles with this to the point where she decides whether she should live or should die from certain times, and it just gets chaotic. I mean, the show escalates. It just goes out there, man. There is no stopping this freak train. It really shows the casualties of war and the destruction and mayhem as the show goes on. You start seeing people being picked off left and right, left and right. You will see a group of friends at the beginning of the show that are all hanging out, cracking jokes, getting to know each other, but as each of them grow up, find a resolve, they're picked off by death one by one. Whether it's through a casualty of destruction, getting shot, getting blown up, earthquakes, all that terrible stuff happens to these people. And Shuji himself is the only survivor. The dude, he sees everything happening around him and trying to figure out what he needs to do in life. But the point is what's the point? What's the point when the world is ending around you? So when I say that it's one of those animes back in the day, you already know at the end of the show, the world is ending, and that's what's happening. And with Chise herself becoming an open weapon, there's a lot of questions I like to put into the show. Things I do like about it, but I also hate, is the war. I like how we don't know much about the war. I really like that. It's a very vague topic where you're seeing destruction and seeing the enemy. Sometimes the enemy is just a flyer jet or is a human that is escaping somewhere, trying to hide, go back to home base. But then you see a giant alien-like ship falling out of the sky. Like, what the heck is going on? You can see some Americans and Italians every now and then within the show. So like, okay, so what's going on? Who is the enemy? Who are we fighting for, and why are they fighting for? And the other question is about Chise herself. She's supposed to be the ultimate weapon, strong enough to destroy a town within a matter of seconds. So if that's the case, why has the war been over with by now? You think to have such a strong weapon, you think like forces everyone to cease fire. Like, okay, we need to stop before she takes us out. But instead, no, the war escalates. It gets crazier. Chise herself even gets hurt, despite being the ultimate weapon. So what's going on? What is happening in this war? I think that is the point. We're not supposed to truly understand. People were supposed to say that the war is happening for the sake of war. Everyone's fighting to survive, but even though no one survives in the end, it really has that Devilman Crybaby ending that's happening. Everyone's just fighting each other, everyone's taking each other out, destroying destruction on a massive scale until finally the ultimate ship comes in and destroys everything at the end. Like, oh my god. It goes nuts, especially towards the end. And what I really got from this show is mainly adolescence and growing up. Have you noticed when we go to war, we send our youngest? We always send the people who hit 18 and they go off into the military, they train, and they go off to war. And the older ones survive and they become some higher ranked power. But we send them off and they die, and most of the time they die scared and alone, not knowing what to do despite all the basic training they get. So there's that as well. Going through that, we also see Chise with a very high capacity of becoming the ultimate weapon. But there's also an OVA. Yes, there's an OVA to this. The OVA is not even in the manga, it's just something that they wanted to do. It even has a higher production value because the animation is actually pretty smooth on it compared to the actual show. So I'm like, yo, that's kind of unfair. But it introduces a lieutenant colonel woman who also is supposed to be an ultimate weapon. However, thanks to her age, she is not as high compatible like Chise is. So even though she is capable and ready to go to war and die for her country, Chise is not. Chise is the one they choose because it's a metaphor for adults hitting their peak, they're past their prime. They need to sit down and let young folks do it. But the young folks don't want to do it because they want to live. They want to enjoy their life. They feel like they're too young to die. They're afraid to go into war. Where you have someone who's trained to go to war, who's ready to do it, but they are not really looked upon because of their age. They're going to sacrifice the younger one. So Chise, who just wants to be a high school girl, hang out with her boyfriend, is not really allowed to because she's too capable of war and doing the great things that she can do. Which, when I watched that OVA, I was like, okay, I'm really starting to understand the point of everything. And even Shuji himself slowly understands what it means to be an adult, taking accountability, and accepting responsibility as well. And because of that, he has to make some hard choices and do things. In the beginning, he could never really lie to Chise, even when he's doing the wrong thing. However, as time goes on, he understanding that lying is a necessary feat for an adult. Sometimes you need to lie to people you love in order for them to feel things are going to be okay. Sometimes they need that lie in order to keep going in life. Like even things aren't okay, they need to hear you say things are going to be okay. They need to hear you say it, even if it's not true, and it will help them out a lot in the long run. Psychology. But yeah, there's also a live action version of this, but I could not find it anywhere, no matter how hard I try, which sucks. I really want to watch this live action version, but I did see clippets of it, and when she's seeing them transform, they transform into like an angel-like creature instead. And I'm like, yo, what are they trying to say here? Did they create angels, and then so the other countries are upset, so they're attacking each other? My theory about the war is that it started out as a small war between one sides of one nation, but when Chise was created, the other nation saw her and like, okay, we need to stop her because she's too powerful. But then as the war escalated, I believe even aliens got involved because you start seeing, even in the manga, you're starting to see strange alien ships start flying around. Like angel-like alien ships flying around. And they're ready to attack each other. And even towards the end of the anime, you're seeing giant ships that we know how any human can create are attacking the planet. So it shows that war really escalated out of control. It started out like a small war, but as the time goes on, it got bigger and bigger to the point everything comes crashing down. It's Panzonkas, man. But yeah, at the end of it, I had to take some time to think about it, really reminisce, to savor everything that happened. And I'm like, this was crazy, but I liked it. I really did. Shooty's a scumbag, but I think that's the point. He's a scumbag that learns to accept what he is and grow along with it, become a better person, at least a better man for Chise, someone that Chise needs in order to cope with the life that she's given now. It's not a good life. And yeah, it really has that Evangelion feel to it. It's nuts. But I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys do too. So please, this is a must watch for everybody. Watch the last love song on this little planet. Definitely a must watch. If you did watch it, let me know how you feel about it. With that, I'll end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. This has been Madcrownxox. Sign out.